everyone, and welcome to episode 99 of Lesbian Talk.
We're almost there.
Almost there. And in another 1,000, we can totally make a Space 1999 joke.
Well.
And, honey, do we have a special guest this time?
Yes, we do. Special guest, tell the world all about yourself.
Hi, I'm George White, and I'm a 20-year-old guy who writes, does stuff, and I have YouTube page. You might find me George White and Total Brat Animation, and also I do podcast commentaries. Well, I've just done one. I'm going to plan to do more. You can find it at soundcloud.com/GEORGE stroke white stroke 70 letter 70.
Go check him out.
Yeah, and we are going to discuss. We're going to discuss a rather odd subject, unusual for this show, and basically it's
something I have a very good passion for because I because my grandfather worked at Ardmore Studios, like Excalibur and stuff, and Ireland used to have a lot of stuff, has a lot of stuff being filmed, set in England, but filmed in Ireland and stuff. And I used to watch a lot of stuff that was clearly filmed in California, and some stuff that wasn't clearly filmed in California, but actually was, like Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Yeah, so we're going to discuss films that were set in Ireland, England, or wherever, but filmed somewhere else.
Like South Africa.
There is an incredible amount of these.
Well, since the dawn of Hollywood, old Hollywood, when you get things like How Green Was My Valley, set in Wales, filmed in California, filmed in Malibu, or things like
Do they have the color green in Malibu?
Would you stop it?
It was filmed in black and white.
Oh, okay.
She maintains that there's no proper green in America just because we were in a traffic jam on 1 mile. 1 mile. 1 mile.
Have you ever seen the episodes of Sons of Anarchy set in Belfast?
No. Well, I've been to Belfast many times.
The episodes of Sons of Anarchy, when they go to Belfast. Sweet Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus, the accents in it.
I'm gonna have to. I've never seen Sons of Anarchy, but I must watch.
They go to Belfast, and only I think one actor initially was done Irish. The one lady who was Katniss Everdeen's mother. She's not Irish, although I think she moved to America when she was quite young.
I have to watch an episode of a show I've never seen before if it's set in Northern Ireland because it's always hilarious. Like the one, like the episode of Captain Planet set in Belfast.
Oh Jesus! Or the episode of Jag, the American series set in Belfast.
I remember Jag. I watched a few episodes of that.
They did an episode, and it had a red bus going through the Universal backlot, Little Europe, as Belfast, except it said Carnaby Street on it. But back to Sons of Anarchy, and I think they had a few other Irish actors eventually, including some fella who was in Glenroe, the Irish country soap.
Can you think of any famous films that hilariously tried to double America or somewhere else with Ireland or whatever?
Actually, yeah, World War Z had parts of quote-unquote Philadelphia. I think it was filmed in like Inverness.
That's the other way around.
Or someplace in Scotland.
That's England or Britain doubling for. It was, I think, Glasgow.
Was
but
it
it's still hilarious.
Because I was like, wait a second, those aren't monuments.
Too, when you have Surrey, even with a few American and Canadian actors dropped in, and except the little doubling is East Houston, Idaho. Oh, the planet Houston, as Terrence Stamp calls it, which my mum was.
Oh, from Superman 2. See, America comes from Philadelphia, so she was like, okay, here's some shots from Philadelphia. Okay, everything's normal, and then suddenly, what the fuck is that?
There's an episode of Murder, She Wrote set in Wicklow, which is a few shots of second unit shots of Wicklow, and then it's like, that's not the interior of the hotel in Auckland. That's not even an Irish pharmacy. That's an American style pharmacy.
Well, this will really turn your head, and I didn't realize that until a few years ago that Angela Lansbury is English. I thought she was American.
We always knew she was because she's now Dane, Angela, of course. But which she was Daned for Bedknobs and Broomsticks, which was filmed in the US.
I fucking love that movie. I'm sorry I love that movie, but the part at the end scared the shit out of me. Where like all the Norman invasion
I always
fall
preferred
asleep.
it to Poppins. I think it's almost like the Beatles or the Stones in terms of Disney, because Poppins was also filmed entirely on sets Disney used to do that because they, like, I think originally all their live action films were filmed in England, and then they built that big studio. Then they did films like One of Our Dinosaurs is Missing, which is brilliant.
Oh, it's got John Pertwee in it.
Yes. And,
it's very racist, though. One of Our Dinosaurs Missing is incredibly racist.
Wonton soup. Isn't that the twist?
Basically, have you ever seen this on a film, honey?
Never have, no.
Basically, it's about these. Okay, there's a bunch of white guys in yellowface pretending to be. They are actually playing Chinese characters.
Bernard Bresslaw.
And they're Peter Ustinov, from Blackbeard's Ghost.
Oh yeah,
and
he played Hercule Poirot in Murder in the Orient Express.
Yeah, and they're Chinese secret agents in London. And this guy steals something from them, and he hides it on the giant dinosaur skeleton in the Natural History Museum in London.
What? Can he not have a safe deposit box? Like, how did he? No,
he stole it. He stuck it there, and then
how did no one see this happening?
The dinosaur gets kidnapped and drives around, but it turns out this secret Chinese secret is actually a recipe for perfect wonton soup.
It's got a great theme song though.
So wait a minute. Y'all have known about wonton soup since John Pertwee was still alive, and yet, no one can do good wonton soup on this island. I mean, I ain't saying
It is almost like a Disney carry-on.
Yeah.
It's one of Breslaw's myriad. I think he's played more ethnicities than any other actor.
Yeah, he's played Caucasian, Chinese,
Martian,
Cyclops,
Giant, Black in Carry On Up the Jungle. Where he's black.
Ice Warrior.
I don't know what Carry On is. I don't know this cultural reference point.
You don't know the Carry On film?
No, George, it's perfectly fine. The fact that she's never come across Carry On means she's never seen Carry On Columbus, which is...
Yes, true. Which also wastes Wick Mail.
Yeah, honey, Carry On is a very long-running series of British comedy films, starting off with a film called Carry On Sergeant, as in Sergeant Carry On. The sergeant of the title was William Hartnell, before Doctor Who. And it's basically a raucous little comedy about that. Then they did Carry On Nurse, and they just did other films. It just devolved into Carry On ...
So it's kind of like National Lampoon's things and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's about 30 of them, and
Jesus.
honestly...
The last proper one was Carry On Emmanuel, because they tried to join in with the sex comedies.
Emmanuel?
Yes, that Emmanuel.
I don't even think I would want to see that.
It's terrible. It's horrible.
Is that your vagina? Or are you just glad to see me?
And if you ever wanted to see the meddling monk and Queen Katrika from The Mysterious Planet, Trial of a Time Lord, looking at a sexy French lady.
I don't think I've ever needed to see that in my life.
Yeah, it's basically 1960s, 70s, and 80s British rock humor.
50s, 60s, and 70s. They ended in 78. They tried to make a few in the 80s, including Carry On Dallas, which would have had Kenneth Williams as Are You Running?
Carry On films don't have a great hit rate, shall we say?
No. But what I was saying is that Bedknobs and Broomsticks was mostly filmed in California. All the kids were English. They were all imported from the old audition.
We had these ones specially imported.
They did very good matte paintings.
Well, they did. I didn't realize it was set in California. It was filmed in California until I was told, I think by you a while back on Twitter.
I didn't realize this until just now.
Because Mary Poppins was filmed in the US too, but that was all sets, and of course most of Broomsticks is on sets too. I think the reason they filmed it in California was because of the animation.
Oh, my illusions have been disillusioned. Is anything really real? Where was My Fair Lady filmed? Tell me it was filmed in London.
No. Oliver was, though.
Okay. My favourite bit of not very good doubling... recently we had Merlin the Return, which was filmed in South Africa.
Apartheid thingy going on.
Well, not anymore. They haven't been apartheid since the 1990s.
Yeah, but they were still thinking about it.
But my favourite piece of terrible doubling is Doomsday. Neil Marshall's Doomsday.
What about Green Street 2? Green Street 2, I was watching it. I was like, what? What?
See, what makes Doomsday special is the fact that it's doubling the Highlands of Scotland for South Africa in the summer, and you have car chases along what is supposed to be Scottish motorway, and it's clearly an American-style, looks Californian motorway. It is hilarious. Like, some people never... Okay. Doubling for ridiculous doubling I'm fine with. You could easily double parts of England for France, or even parts of the eastern seaboard of America. There's sane doubling. based on climate and stuff. And
there are like that's the thing with Bedknobs and Broomsticks, is that they actually managed to do things like, I think the one giveaway for me was that most of the actors, the adult actors in it, apart from Tessie O'Shea, who plays the Welsh lady, and she was Welsh. My mum thinks she's Irish, but she was Welsh. And Bruce Forsyth, obviously, and David Tomlinson. All the actors in it were US based. All the adult actors were US based. Roddy McDowall, Lansbury.
But my favourite piece of doubling that's got nothing to do with the UK is an episode of The Lone Gunman. Because Lone Gunman, like the X-Files, was filmed in Vancouver, and it was filmed in the wind. It was either autumn or winter. It was very wet and cold.
Where was it set? Where was the episode set?
It was set in Texas.
It can be cold in Texas and wet. They have winter. I mean, it's like a warmer winter.
Vancouver has been used a lot to double for places, though. Like,
that's when I was watching that.
Everywhere
I was
the X-Files are shot in Vancouver.
Has been used as UK a lot. Like Toronto Equus, the Richard Burton movie, which was made in the height of the UK-Canadian tax. That was actually supposed to be made in Ireland. Apparently IRA threats, although a lot of people believe it was actually because of Ireland loves horses and from horse abuse might have not done well. So they went over to Toronto, and it looks like Toronto. Like it doesn't look right, even though they have proper British actors in it.
How many films were actually kicked out of Ireland because of the IRA? Because I know for a fact that Barry Lyndon was filming in the Republic, and then they got IRA threats, and so Kubrick moved the entire production to England.
Only a couple. The only other one I can think of was a film that was never actually completed called The New Spartans.
Spartans.
With Oliver Reed, Fred Williamson, Jimmy Wang Yu starred The Man from Hong Kong. Susan George.
Hey, don't give me any shit.
Susan George, Toshiro Mifune, Graham Crowden from the Horns of Naiman.
This is an amazing collection.
Yes. And it was supposed to be. It was directed by Jack Stewart, who did Waste of the Devil and Cleopatra Jones and stuff like that. And it was a kind of war movie spoof, and it had Toshiro Mifune played a character called a Japanese soldier who was one of these Japanese soldiers from World War II who could only speak one word of English, and which was shit, and still thought the war was on. World War II was on. And Fred Williamson was playing a character called Lincoln Jefferson Washington the Toad. And
this sounds like a Carry On movie.
It was essentially like Blazing Saddles, but a war movie.
Oh, why did this not get finished?
This film sounds absolutely amazing.
I mean, well, to be fair, based on the storyline and everything, it sounds like it would be amazing, but logically it would probably be shit, because everything...
It would have been because everything went wrong.
Yeah, and most things that sound like they should be amazing usually tend to work out that they're not. But still, I'm sad that it doesn't exist.
I hate when I find that out, like, oh, this movie was going to be made with so-and-so, and then it never
That's one of my other speciality subjects.
Well, did you hear they were going to do a remake of The Thin Man with Johnny Depp as Nick Charles, and it never got off the ground.
Terrible.
No, it would have been awesome. You hush.
No, terrible.
Awesome.
Ooh, dear. There's going to be a fight.
There's not going to be a fight.
I suppose, honey, you can watch Mordecai and just, squint.
No. I love me The Thin Man movies, though.
Yeah, Omega loves The Thin Man.
So, witty and funny and good.
And you're all like, why can't you review Thin Man movies? And I'm like, I review 30s exploitation, not 30s, witty comedy. There's some ones where the doubling works, like Dog Soldiers was another Neil Marshall. He loves doubling. It was filmed in Luxembourg for Scotland. Looks fine. The Descent, set in Appalachia, filmed in Scotland. Looks fine. Then he made Doomsday, which was South Africa for Scotland.
Toronto was Jumper that had bits in London that were actually Toronto. Total Recall remake, so clearly not an English subway tube. It was clearly like a North American subway.
Here's a good bit of doubling. This is for it's because it's set in a prison. It's hard to actually tell. There's not much exterior shots, but Beyond Reanimator is set in a prison in Massachusetts, and it was filmed in the south of Spain.
Yes.
So every single actor.
Green Street 2, that's the opposite, because there's no big Latino guys in England.
Yeah.
It was clearly a desert prison, even though the few English people who were in it were all expats, like people like Troy, Deanna Troy, Marina Sirtis.
Yeah, like the Beyond
And
Remember
Vernon
has
Wells was in it playing Wes from Mad Max 2, Road Warrior. He was in it as an English governor. A lot of American cop shows too and stuff whenever they go to London. Columbo, when they went to London, that was a weird one. It's kind of half filmed in London but half filmed in California. One of the stars, Wilfred Hyde-White, who was in Carry On Nuss, he was fleeing from the Inland Revenue, so all his bits had to be filmed in California.
That's great.
So you have clearly Mansion, which is clearly in California, being cut to what clearly 1972 London.
I'm remembering The Mummy Returns. You've got it wasn't I can't remember where it was filmed, but
London. It was filmed in England.
Okay, well we've got a
all the bits together, all the landmarks.
Yes, you've got a CGI
which was deliberate because Stephen Summers is the comedy. I wish London was made like that. London should be like that, he says.
Yeah, just for the audience, you've got this wonderful establishing shots created in the computer showing every single landmark in London right beside each other in this one shot, and it's really funny.
Is that like the one from that really bad CGI anti-Obama one, where they are walking and they basically walk through from McLean, Virginia to downtown the district in 5 minutes?
I think, the Silver Circle.
Okay, yeah. I forgot what the name was.
The 1970s version of Hound of the Baskervilles, Sherlock Holmes TV pilot with Stuart Grange, 1950s screen idol, as Holmes, and he was Watson doing kind of Nigel Bruce Stars in Your Eyes routine, and it has literally one of the worst. I think I asked Kim Newman, what's the worst England you've ever seen? Worst dubbling, and he says this, and it is it's clearly Universal backlot in the middle of summer. For the opening starts all fog, but when they go to the village rather than London, it's clearly California. It's baking sunlight and all that.
Oh, that's like the Irish holodeck village in Star Trek Voyager.
Same set.
Is it? Oh God.
Because it's the Sherlock, Universal Little Europe.
Wait a minute, honey. What was that Leprechaun movie that we saw that we weren't sure if it was filmed in actual the Republic or?
Leprechaun Origins.
We actually had to freeze frame. Is that a euro? We can't tell. It looks like a $10 bet. No, it's a euro.
That's the one that featured Gary Chalk, aka Optimus Primal, as the lead Irish villain.
Yeah, he's English born but Canadian raised.
Yeah, it was just really funny. It's Optimus Primal's being evil in Ireland.
Didn't they even have a badly CGI'd village at one point? There was
I think so, but the main thing that I found hilarious was that they had a holiday cabin when in Ireland you have maybe a holiday cottage, but they had an American style cabins where this has to be filmed in Tennessee or something.
Yeah, I was wait a second, everyone here goes in the caravan up the coast. They don't have a hut.
Yeah, it would, and if it was a hut, it would be a thatched roof cottage or something.
It was Vancouver, because WWE their studios are based in Vancouver.
But a film that doubled, which I reckon a lot of people who just watched the film wouldn't notice, but that was Fury Road, because that was filmed in Namibia, in Africa.
Yeah. Well, it's all desert, isn't it? Although I always remember the story. There was a story about Gene Hackman made a film called March or Die, which was in the 70s, which was a World War Foreign Legion movie. And they were filming in Africa, and I think it was supposed to be one of the big American debut of spaghetti western actor Terence Hill, of Hill and Spencer fame, and they filmed it in Africa, and Hackman was moaning and all, and they moved it to California. And he saw, well, desert is desert, it all looks the same. Then they realised, hey, the sand's different. So
we are coming up to halfway through the episode, so we've got to move on to Doctor Who. But honey, what did we watch?
And I didn't even mention the Def Leppard story, which was filmed in Montreal, which looks more like Nebraska, but is actually supposed to be Sheffield.
But honey, what did we watch?
Well, this week we watched the Zygon Inversion, although we watched it separately on iPlayer because this weekend was too busy. But it was a good busy because we filmed some You Probably Shouldn't Cook This, so that'll be turning up in a wee bit. And I have to say, I really liked this episode, but as I finished watching it, I was like, oh, I wonder what you're gonna say. And I'm like, I can see you be like, well, it was alright, I guess. Or, no, I hate everything.
I didn't like it, but I only saw bits of it, and I thought, oh, Jesus, I don't watch Who anymore. I've just gone off. You know, I just, I don't know why I wouldn't say grown out of Who, but, you know, the thing is, Who was a series that always needed, you know, for every one good design, there was always about a dozen bad design, 100 bad designs.
When you talk about, you know, bad designs, I don't like the modern Zygon design.
No, it's too rubbery. It's too rubbery.
And it's too chunky compared to the other one.
It's too chunky. It looks more like a Power Rangers monster.
Another proud warrior race that has to mince slowly across the battlefield.
It has that rubberiness. So it has that kind of... Yeah, and even the way they pull their faces, too, I feel. They're on grimace.
Yeah, and they're constantly sort of just going...
Yeah, well, that kind of
Why aren't
weird,
we being taken seriously as a civilized race?
Well, that kind of weird, unnerving quality, that quivering quality that John Woodnut especially brought in his performance as Broton. You know, that kind of, we are not here, you. That kind of, you know, kind of slightly pent up thing. You know, kind of slightly stiff upper lip. That's it.
Yeah, I won't disagree with you there, but like, I was expecting the worst from this episode based on the previous one and Peter Harn's previous record, given Kill the Moon, and it wasn't. Yeah. It didn't end up as quite as bad as
I don't. Yeah, Zygon performance is all wrong. Clara feels almost like cosmically superior Sarah Jane Smith. I feel.
Someone, a author that I follow on Twitter was like, "All right, I like Jenna Coleman. You know, fair enough, she's a good actress, but." Oh my God, Clara is like so becoming the penultimate Mary Sue at this point. Like,
yeah, she is.
I'm just sick of her. Sick of her. I can't wait till she's gone.
Oh, no, I did like one thing about it, which was the Doctor's impression of Huey Green, the 1960s, 70s British TV personality, host of Opportunity Knocks, with his kind of, which is when he says, you know, and I mean it's most sincerely in that kind of fake American accent because Huey Green was actually trained by Hollywood. He actually worked in a few Lassie movies which were set in Yorkshire but filmed in Hollywood. And of course I also had Roddy McDowell in it too. Segue back. No, we won't go there.
I want to tell the audience about this. George sent me a link to Peter Wingardie, who plays Clytus in Flash Gordon. Him singing a song, semi-rapping almost in parts, about rape, while doing a series of horrible sort of racist impersonations of various accents, and it's like, wow, oh my God, this could actually combust huge sections of the internet. The existence of this.
He was a big TV star. He was very big. And then, of course, what happened was then he was caught cottaging.
But the audience will be really annoyed if I don't, you know, complain about this episode, because that's my thing with New Who.
I'll complain about it.
But this one, it was better than the ending of than the last one would suggest. Although I have to wonder, right at the end you've got
boring to me.
We've done this thing lots of times. It's broken down all the time. I'm going to wipe some memories, and it's good. Well, people will not know that it happened.
Why does he keep doing it?
And how many people did not get their memories wiped? Unless the whole Zygon insurgency was those three.
See, here's the thing.
Zygons are everywhere. Even in Scotland.
I really appreciated Kate Lethbridge Stewart because I really feel that that's the kind of thing that she was trained to do. Or like, you know, maybe her father imparted, like, the Doctor will try to do this, just you shoot first and answer questions later. And I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty neat.
This wasn't as tone deaf as Kill the Moon. You know, I don't think I'll be doing a 20 Who review on it. Although someone on Twitter has requested I do it, and they have mentioned they might increase their patronage to make me do it. And I'll be like, okay, I'll review it, but I'll have to be honest. I'm not going to feign anger at stuff that didn't make me angry. Although there's stuff there that does annoy me, but I'm not going to be like rage the whole episode.
You know what I liked? I liked how before you had Maisie Williams' character who desperately wanted to be a companion, and the Doctor was like, no. And then this one, like, he says to Osgood, you could totally be a companion. She's like, no, I want to, but I've got just stuff here to do. And I was like, aw, that's
Then
cool.
you have the other Osgood looking just like Seth McCoy in Curse of Fenric.
Yeah.
And did you notice the YouTube video in the UK right now for Maltesers? Have you seen that one, honey?
No, I haven't.
Oliver's in it.
The girl who plays Osgood, she's one of the main
I
characters in this
can't
advert.
believe she's 37. She's actually 37.
She is. She's older than me. She doesn't look it.
Although in real life, I thought when she's blonde, she looks like the girl from Highlander, not the American, the head of the Scottish girl, played by Sylvia Sims's daughter.
Oh, Heather. Oh, my bonny Heather.
Yeah, she actually looks like her.
Yeah, the unfortunate implications for this episode still continue to fly after the other ones, but a little bit restricted compared to the last one.
Yeah,
like,
they kind of ramped down the immigrant stuff.
You can only a minority can only have a peaceful existence inside a majority is if they're indistinguishable from the majority. That's a bad implication. That's horrible. It's not intended to be horrible, but it's like, oh god, you know, if they'd have been able to work out some sort of a town where the Zygons could live and where they could run around and be Zygons and it'd be
like
fine.
Santa Myra and Halloween Tree.
What?
The town in Halloween Tree where it's all taken over and they've all eased out all the original population by way of evil Irish people.
Oh, I didn't remember. It's been so long since I watched Halloween 3, I forgot about that. Honey, what other stuff do you have to say about the Zygon inversion?
Well, I really do like the character of Osgood, and I was glad to see her come back. Like, before they revealed at the end, oh, it was just me, the Zygon Rebel Commander, I was like, wait a second, did she survive the Missy? Oh, no, she didn't. Oh, well. I like the Doctor's, like, kind of Matt Smith-esque rant at the end. Because I realized that, like,
I didn't actually catch the end. Wait a minute. So was Osgood actually a Zygon all along? Or
She never says. Because he asks her, he's like, I have to know. And she's like, no.
Which one? So how did she survive? Or was it set beforehand?
No. Because the Zygon Rebel Commander at the end, the one who had spent most of the episode with Clara's form, doubles Osgood, and so then Osgood has her.
Well, which one died? Which one died?
She's never said, and because he said, I have to know which one are you, which one survived. She's like, I'll no one tell you.
Yeah, we don't know which one died, but there is one thing in this that really, really bothered me.
Oh dear.
And that's the fact that the Doctor forgave Bonnie for the murder and mayhem she'd caused. Third-party forgiveness is immoral.
Is that a reference to Miss Langford? I wonder.
I don't know. It's all Christ-like or whatever, but you cannot forgive someone.
The Doctor is Jesus.
You cannot forgive someone for something that someone did to someone else. If I punch Omega in the face, I cannot then be forgiven by George. That would be immoral.
You can be forgiven by the law, though.
Yeah, but that's different. The law affects everyone. Okay. It's like the Doctor has no right to forgive Bonnie for murder, for basically driving that guy to suicide, for the town that was wiped out in Nevada. The Doctor has no right for that, and that Zygon should have been arrested.
Well, I was actually saying it was actually New Mexico, and it was Spain. Dublin was New Mexico. But what I was saying was that basically now I think people are now hopping on Izzy hinting that the Doctor is Jesus.
No, this is definitely toned down from Russell T Davis's era.
No, but they're actually saying they're saying never mind. Someone was saying they actually believe that the Doctor is actually Jesus, not a Jesus-like figure, but Jesus. I wish there were a few Scarisons in this.
Wait, Scarisons?
The Nessie Yokes, the Loch monster from Terror Zygons. And I'd love them to do a decent one of those.
What I want to see is a return of the Merca.
Oh Jesus! The pantomime dinosaur.
Yeah.
Played by
the Merca, which if the audience you can see on every episode of my Twilight Who review being ninja kicked in the chest
by Miss Ingrid Pitt.
Yes.
From.
But yeah, Zygon inversion could have been much, much worse. It's still got unfortunate implications up the Yazoo. Not as bad as Kill the Moon.
What unfortunate implications of what? What the Yazoo?
A Wazoo, whatever.
What's that?
Up the ass.
Wait, what? I got confused at some point in this conversation.
I was using colloquialisms.
Oh dear.
But the trailer for the next one. Okay, the next one's the Mark Gatiss episode, and Mark Gatiss does not have the best record on writing Who.
I like his stuff.
His stuff and other Doctor Who stuff is good, and his stuff that's not Who is good. His stuff on TV Doctor Who doesn't have a very good record.
I like the Idiot's Lantern.
He has a couple of okay ones, but generally not very good. However, the trailer for this new one, it looks good.
What's it about again? I forget it.
It's Reese Shearsmith and Bethany Black in the future, and there's no sleeping, and there's a monster in a spaceship with no light. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it because it looks good, which I did not expect. I was expecting that to be one of the bad ones, based on the fact that it's just my luck, because it's got my favourite member of the League of Gentlemen in it. It's written by Mark Gatiss and Bethany Black, who I knew a bit a while back, and she's in it. And it's like, oh, just my luck, that'll be a bad one. But it looks really good.
She's the first transgender person to be in Doctor Who.
In New Who has had 2 trans characters before. There was Cassandra, and then in Shadows in the Silence in the Library, the original script, one of the characters was trans, but Russell T Davies made Stephen Moffat change it.
Which one was that?
The character, you know how Donna was in the computer with her perfect man?
Yeah.
They were going to reveal that the perfect man was a she in real life.
Did you know that the character of the Veronica Cartwright character in Alien is transgender?
No.
The what's her name? It's
Lambert.
Lambert. Yeah, she's transgender.
Had no idea.
In Aliens, when you watch the scene in Aliens, you know when they have those big huge maps with all their biographies on it.
Yeah.
It says she was born male, but it was shortly after birth given an operation and transformed into a female baby.
That sounds odd. I'm going to have to look that up. But yeah. We have reached the hour, so honey, what do we have to say at the end of the episode?
Well, that has been episode 99. We have had our special guest, and George, do you have any parting words that you'd like to give to our studio? Okay, not audience.
Because we've reached the end of the time allotted, unfortunately.
This is the end, and I mean this most sincerely, Doctor / Huey Green, and I mean this most sincerely. It's been a great experience, and yeah, it's been good.
Well, it was a delight having you on, George, and I'm sure that at some point we'll probably have you on again.
Yes.
If so, because as a patron, you know, if you are entitled to be on it every so often, because if you keep up the same patron level.
Yeah. I actually might cover unmade movies for the next one.
That'd be a good one.
It's been a great pleasure, so smell you later.
That has been episode 99. I have been the Omega Geek, and honey, who do you have once I have been this week?
I have been Telly Savalas.
Fair enough.
In Beyond the Poseidon Adventure.
Who loves you, baby? We'll see y'all next time.